What truly defines a Hollywood legend? Is it fame, fortune, or a long list of blockbuster films? If that were the case, James Garner's story would be just another among many. But his legacy is far greater, built on resilience, integrity, and an unwavering moral compass that set him apart in an industry often defined by superficiality. Garner was more than a celebrated actor. He was a war hero, an activist, and a devoted family man whose journey was shaped by both triumphs and struggles, making him an enduring symbol of strength and authenticity. From a difficult childhood marked by loss and hardship to his heroic service in the Korean War, Garner's path was never easy. He rose to stardom through Maverick and the Rockford Files, playing characters that mirrored his own charismatic yet grounded persona. He took a stand against Hollywood's exploitation, fought for workers' rights, and marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr., proving that his convictions were as strong off-screen as they were in his performances. His love story with Lois Clark, his battles with health and industry giants, and his quiet yet powerful philanthropy continue to inspire. James Garner's legacy teaches us that true success is not in fame, but in integrity, perseverance, and heart. James Garner's life began far from the glamorous world of Hollywood. Born James Scott Bumgarner on April 7, 1928, in Norman, Oklahoma, he faced adversity from an early age. His mother, Mildred, passed away when he was just 5 years old, leaving him and his brothers to navigate childhood without her warmth and guidance. The loss was compounded by the harsh reality of growing up under the rule of a cruel stepmother, Wilma, who went as far as humiliating young James by forcing him to wear a dress in public. But Garner was not one to be broken. His fighting spirit was evident even then, as he stood up to her, refusing to let her cruelty define him. The turning point came when his father remarried Grace, a woman whom James would later describe as the only maternal figure he truly loved. However, his father's decision to move to Los Angeles left James and his brothers behind in Oklahoma, forcing them to fend for themselves at an early age. Garner's teenage years were marked by rebellion and restlessness. Seeking escape, he briefly joined the U.S. Merchant Marine, eager for adventure, before returning to high school at Hollywood High in California. Yet, the rigid structure of education never appealed to him, and he dropped out before graduation. Despite the instability of his early years, Garner was naturally athletic and thrived in sports, excelling in football, basketball, and track when he returned to Norman. His resilience was evident in every challenge he faced, whether standing up to his stepmother or forging his own path in life. These early struggles did not defeat him. Instead, they instilled in him the grit and determination that would define his future. They laid the foundation for the man he would become, a fighter, a survivor, and ultimately a legend. Before James Garner became a Hollywood icon, he was a soldier, a real-life hero whose courage in battle left an indelible mark on his life. When the Korean War erupted, Garner enlisted in the California Army National Guard and was deployed as part of the 5th Regimental Combat Team. Unlike the fictional characters he would later portray, this was no scripted drama. It was a brutal reality where survival was uncertain, and every moment could be his last. Garner's first-hand experience on the front lines shaped him in ways no acting role ever could. He faced the horrors of war head-on, enduring extreme conditions on the Korean Peninsula. His bravery was tested in combat, and he bore the scars of war, both physically and emotionally. He was wounded twice during his service, first by mortar fire, which left shrapnel embedded in his face and hand, and then by a friendly fire incident that struck him in the rear while he sought refuge in a foxhole. Despite the pain, Garner found humor in the latter injury, later joking that it was better now than in a box. For his sacrifice and valor, Garner was awarded the prestigious Purple Heart. Unlike many actors who play war heroes on screen, he had lived through it. The experience shaped his outlook on life, giving him a profound sense of gratitude and perspective. He often reflected on how close he had come to being another war statistic, acknowledging that luck had played a part in his survival. His time in the military instilled in him a deep appreciation for veterans, a cause he would later support throughout his life. While Hollywood would eventually recognize him for his talent, it was his time as a soldier that made him truly understand the value of resilience and perseverance. Garner's heroism was not just an act, it was an integral part of who he was. James Garner's path to Hollywood was anything but conventional. Unlike many aspiring actors who spent years struggling to land their big break, Garner stumbled into acting almost by accident. After returning from military service, he took on various jobs, including working as a carpet layer, gas station attendant, and even a chicken processor. Fate, however, had bigger plans for him. His striking looks and natural charisma caught the attention of a talent scout while he was modeling Jantzen bathing suits, leading him to consider acting as a career. At first, Garner wasn't particularly passionate about the industry. He took small, uncredited roles and enrolled in acting classes, but he quickly realized that formal training wasn't his style. He preferred learning by observing professionals on set. set. His first major opportunity came when he landed a non-speaking role in the Broadway play The Cain Mutiny Court Martial, where he watched Henry Fonda perform night after night. Garner later admitted that Fonda's effortless acting style heavily influenced his own approach to the craft. His breakthrough came in 1957 when he was cast as Brett Maverick in Maverick, a role that would cement his place as a household name. Unlike the traditional Western heroes of the time, Brett Maverick was different, charming, witty, and more inclined to outsmart his enemies than outgun them. Garner's portrayal was groundbreaking, adding humor and charisma to a genre dominated by stoic, gunslinging cowboys. Audiences loved his relaxed, easygoing style, and the show became a massive success. His natural charm and effortless cool translated well onto the big screen. He soon found himself starring in major films like The Great Escape 1963, where he shared the screen with Steve McQueen, and Grand Prix 1966, showcasing his love for racing. But it was The Rockford Files 1974 to 1980 that truly solidified his legendary status. As Jim Rockford, a private investigator who relied more on wit than violence, Garner redefined the detective genre. The role was physically demanding and took a toll on his body, but it became one of his most beloved performances. Garner's rise to fame was swift, but it wasn't just luck. It was his unique ability to blend rugged masculinity with humor and warmth that set him apart. Unlike many actors who played tough guys, he brought authenticity to every role, making him one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Hollywood is often known for whirlwind romances that fizzle out as quickly as they begin, but James Garner's love story with Lois Clark was an exception. Their relationship was a testament to deep love, mutual respect, and unwavering commitment, an extraordinary feat in an industry where marriages are frequently short-lived. Garner met Lois Clark in 1956 at a party, and from the very beginning, their connection was undeniable. Their courtship was swift, lasting only 2 weeks before they decided to tie the knot. Many doubted that such a quick marriage would last, especially since they came from different worlds. Garner was an Oklahoma-born war veteran with a rough past, while Clark came from a Jewish background with a more refined upbringing. But despite their differences, their bond was unshakable. Their marriage wasn't without challenges. Garner's skyrocketing career demanded long hours on set, often keeping him away from home. The physical and emotional toll of his demanding roles, particularly during the Rockford Files, led to 2 major separations in 1970 and 1979. These weren't signs of a failing marriage, but rather necessary breaks that allowed them to regroup and strengthen their bond. The couple reunited in 1981, proving that their love was far stronger than any hardship they faced. One of the most beautiful aspects of their relationship was Garner's role as a stepfather to Lois's daughter, Kimberly. He embraced fatherhood wholeheartedly, later welcoming their daughter Gigi and creating a loving, blended family. Unlike many Hollywood stars, Garner was deeply private about his personal life, choosing to shield his family from the spotlight. He valued the sanctity of his home, ensuring that fame never disrupted the foundation of their love. Their marriage lasted an astounding 58 years, right up until Garner's passing in 2014. In a world where relationships are often fleeting, their enduring love story serves as a reminder that true commitment and understanding can withstand even the toughest challenges. Lois Clark passed away in 2021, but their legacy as one of Hollywood's most remarkable couples continues to inspire. James Garner was not just a star, he was a fighter, both on and off the screen. Unlike many actors who accepted Hollywood's exploitative practices as the norm, Garner was unafraid to challenge the industry when he felt wronged. His willingness to stand up against major studios set a precedent for fair treatment of actors, proving that he was more than just a charming leading man. He was a man of principle. His first major battle came against Warner Bros. During his time on Maverick. When the 1960 writers' strike halted production, the studio refused to pay him, claiming there was no work available. Garner, however, discovered that Warner Bros. Was secretly producing scripts without officially hiring writers, effectively bypassing the strike. Refusing to be cheated out of his earnings, he sued the studio for breach of contract. It was a bold move that could have ended his career, but against all odds, he won. This landmark victory not only freed him from his contract, but also set a standard for actors' rights in Hollywood. His most notable legal battle came years later against Universal Studios over the Rockford Files. The grueling production schedule had taken a toll on his health, and despite the show's success, Universal was withholding millions in profits that should have gone to him. Garner, once again unwilling to be exploited, took the studio to court. After a lengthy legal fight, he emerged victorious, securing a $14 million settlement. This lawsuit sent shockwaves through Hollywood, proving that even major studios were not above accountability. These battles were not just about money for Garner, they were about fairness and integrity. He believed that actors, like all professionals, deserved deserved to be compensated fairly for their work. Unlike many who feared retaliation, he refused to back down, cementing his reputation as a man who stood for justice. Despite his legal struggles, Hollywood couldn't deny his talent and box office appeal. Garner continued working in major films and TV projects, proving that his integrity only added to his star power. His legacy as both an actor and an advocate for fairness remains one of his most enduring contributions to the industry. James Garner was not just a Hollywood star. He was a man of conviction who believed in using his platform for the greater good. At a time when many celebrities avoided political controversies to protect their careers, Garner was unafraid to take a stand. His activism was not about seeking attention. It was about standing up for justice, equality, and the values he deeply believed in. A staunch Democrat, Garner was a vocal supporter of progressive policies and civil rights. He donated more than $29,000 to political campaigns throughout his life, backing candidates and causes that aligned with his beliefs. His contributions were not just financial. He was actively involved in political movements, most notably the civil rights movement. One of his most significant moments came in 1963 when he marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr. in the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Unlike many actors who supported causes from a distance, Garner was on the front lines, walking shoulder to shoulder with those fighting for justice. His political views even found their way into his acting career. In the 1985 CBS miniseries Space, his character was initially written as a Republican, but Garner, ever true to himself, requested that the role be changed to a Democrat to reflect his real-life beliefs. It was a rare move in Hollywood, but one that showcased his unwavering commitment to authenticity. In 1990, Democratic leaders seriously considered Garner as a candidate for governor of California. His immense popularity and strong principles made him an appealing choice, and party leaders were eager to have him run. However, when former San Francisco Mayor Dianne Feinstein stepped forward, he stepped aside, choosing to continue his activism from behind the scenes. Garner's political involvement extended beyond elections and civil rights. He advocated for veterans, speaking openly about the struggles soldiers faced after returning home from war. Having served in the Korean War and suffered combat wounds himself, he understood firsthand the sacrifices made by servicemen and women. Unlike many celebrities who shift their views based on trends, Garner remained steadfast in his beliefs throughout his life. He was never swayed by Hollywood pressures or public opinion. His activism wasn't about boosting his image, it was about standing up for what was right. His courage in using his voice for change remains an important part of his legacy, proving that true heroes are not just found on the silver screen, but in real life as well. James Garner's career was defined by physical roles that required action, stunts, and intense on-screen performances. While these roles made him one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, they also took a serious toll on his body. Unlike modern actors who rely on stunt doubles for dangerous sequences, Garner often insisted on performing many of his own stunts, which led to years of accumulated injuries. One of the most significant physical challenges he faced was his deteriorating knees. The strain from years of action-packed roles, particularly during the Rockford Files, left him in constant pain. By the early 2000s, his knees had become unbearable, leading him to undergo multiple surgeries. He eventually had both knees replaced, a decision that allowed him to regain some mobility but forced him to slow down in his later years. In addition to his orthopedic issues, Garner faced a major health scare in 1988 when he underwent quintuple bypass surgery. Years of smoking had taken a toll on his heart, and doctors discovered 5 blocked arteries that needed immediate intervention. The surgery was a success, but kicking the smoking habit proved to be a longer battle. It took him another 17 years to finally quit, a testament to both his strong will and the grip of nicotine addiction. His biggest health challenge, however, came in 2008 when he suffered a severe stroke. The incident was a wake-up call, forcing him to step away from Hollywood for good. Although he partially recovered, the stroke had lasting effects on his health, weakening him significantly in his final years. Through all these struggles, Garner remained resilient. He never allowed his health issues to define him or overshadow his legacy. Even in the face of physical adversity, he continued to exude the same charm and warmth that made him a beloved figure. His determination to keep moving forward, despite mounting health challenges, spoke volumes about his character. While his body may have weakened over time, his spirit remained as strong as ever, a testament to the grit that defined his entire life. James Garner was not just a Hollywood legend, he was also a devoted father. While the public saw him as the suave and charismatic actor, his family knew him as a loving but often absent patriarch, torn between his professional commitments and personal life. His daughter, Gigi Garner, has since shed light on what it was like growing up with such an iconic father, offering a glimpse into the complexities of balancing fame and family. Despite his deep love for his family, Garner's demanding career often kept him away from home for long stretches of time. The relentless filming schedules of the Rockford Files and his numerous film projects meant that his daughters, Gigi and stepdaughter Kimberly, often relied more on their mother, Lois, for daily support and guidance. Though he wasn't always physically present, he made every effort to be there when it mattered most. Gigi described her father as a man of warmth, humor, and quiet strength. He wasn't the overly affectionate or expressive type, but his love was evident in his actions. Unlike many Hollywood fathers who struggled with ego and excess, Garner maintained a strong moral compass, ensuring that his family never fell victim to the pitfalls of fame. He was deeply protective of his children, shielding them from the pressures of the entertainment industry. His personal life wasn't without its struggles. The legal battles with Warner Bros. And Universal introduced significant financial stress into the household, and the physical demands of his roles often left him exhausted and irritable. Yet, even in the toughest times, Garner never allowed his personal challenges to overshadow his love for his family. Gigi recalls one of the most touching aspects of their relationship, their shared love for racing. Garner's passion for cars and racing extended beyond the screen, and he passed that enthusiasm down to his daughter. Today, Gigi continues to honor her father's legacy through her work in animal rescue, a cause close to both of their hearts. Fatherhood, much like his career, came with its own set of challenges, but James Garner approached it with the same integrity and authenticity that defined every other aspect of his life. He was not a perfect father, but he was a devoted one whose love and influence remained deeply embedded in the lives of those he cherished most. James Garner's portrayal of Jim Rockford in the Rockford Files redefined the detective genre. Unlike traditional private investigators, Rockford was a reluctant hero, charming, resourceful, and often using wit over violence. The show's unique blend of humor, action, and realism made it a massive hit. However, its grueling production schedule physically exhausted Garner, contributing to his multiple injuries and eventual departure. Despite this, The Rockford Files remains one of the most beloved TV series of all time. Garner's performance set the standard for modern TV detectives, proving that intelligence and charisma could be just as compelling as brute force. Garner's friendships in Hollywood reflected his genuine, down-to-earth nature. He shared a close bond with fellow actors like Steve McQueen, Clint Eastwood, and Tom Selleck, all of whom respected his humility and work ethic. Unlike many stars of his era, Garner had no tolerance for arrogance or ego, preferring sincerity over pretense. His colleagues admired his ability to balance humor with professionalism, making him a joy to work with. Even after his passing, tributes from actors across generations reinforced his influence. His legacy is one of kindness, authenticity, and an effortless ability to connect with both co-stars and audiences. Beyond Hollywood, James Garner had an enduring passion for auto racing. His love for speed led him to participate in competitive racing events and even own a racing team. He performed many of his own driving stunts in films like Grand Prix, showcasing his skill behind the wheel. His knowledge of cars earned him deep respect within the racing community, and he remained actively involved in motorsports throughout his life. Racing wasn't just a hobby for Garner, it was an extension of his adventurous spirit. His influence continues in motorsports, with fans and racers alike admiring his fearless approach to the sport. As James Garner aged, health issues forced him to step away from Hollywood. Despite his declining health, he remained active in charitable causes and spent his later years enjoying family life. His 2008 stroke was a turning point, leading to a more reclusive existence. When he passed away in 2014 at 86, the entertainment world mourned a true legend. His legacy endures in the timeless characters he brought to life, the industry standards he fought for, and the lives he touched. Garner's career and character serve as an enduring reminder that true greatness is built on integrity and resilience. James Garner's story is one of perseverance, talent, and authenticity. From his humble beginnings to Hollywood stardom, from war hero to television pioneer, he left an indelible mark on the world. His integrity, humor, and refusal to compromise his values made him a rare gem in an industry often driven by superficiality. As audiences continue to rediscover his work, his influence remains as strong as ever. Let his life remind us that true success is not just about fame, it's about character. If you enjoyed this tribute to James Garner, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.